It's the weekly armchair kickoff.
Welcome back, everyone, to the weekly Armchair Kickoff podcast. We're on a United show today, as you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, Devil's Advocate, and today we are previewing our massive New Year's Day fixture against Aston Villa. And today I'm joined here to my right again by new weekly Armchair Kickoff podcast regular and Devil's Advocate regular, Jamie McKay. Jamie, how are you this evening?
I'm okay, mate. All for happier for seeing that Liverpool result.
Yeah, look. We were due to go live at 9:30, but the game was on a knife edge. I was sitting there. I was a loyal Newcastle fan tonight for 90 minutes. Newcastle have gone. Liverpool dropped 2 points, and yes, as it says in the thumbnail of this fucking video, Manchester United are in a title race. Yes, we are. Absolutely, Manchester United are in a title race. This game against Aston Villa now is so big. It was already big about putting on pressure on Liverpool, but now you're looking at it. This is massive. We win on Friday. We go joint top the table. We go top. 1 points to Liverpool. You might talk about goal difference or whatever, but this game bears massive significance. I can't drill this in enough. As you can tell with me, I'm buzzing. I'm so excited. Great way to end 2020 as football fans.
Got the old fresh cut. He's got a fresh cut and he's got a title race on the go.
Absolutely. We have a comment in here from Amy. Amy says 21 is coming. I don't think it's coming yet, but look, it's in the pipeline. It's in the pipeline. Shane Dowley, our man, is here in capital letters, as it says as well. Title charge. Absolutely, Manchester United are in a title race. We are coming for you, Liverpool. We are absolutely coming for you. And so, Jamie, I suppose, look, we're not going to break down the Liverpool game because this is not a Liverpool podcast today. This is the United show. But look, I suppose for you, do you think this game against Newcastle, in terms of Liverpool's performance, do you think they were rattled tonight?
I don't know. I just had a sneaky feeling that something was on the offing tonight. I don't know why, because Newcastle ain't been playing very well. But obviously, anybody that's heard me speak on here before might know I live in Newcastle. I live about 10 minutes away from St James's Park. So I go to quite a lot of Newcastle games. So I take an interest in the club. I've lived in the city for like nearly 12 years. I have a lot of friends, a lot of good friends that run channels and do different bits and pieces. So I'm quite involved with Newcastle. I know what's going on and stuff like that. So it's a case of it was good. It was good to see them get a point first and foremost. As I said, I've got a lot of friends that are Newcastle fans, and obviously you'll see me on Twitter having quite a lot of interactions with Newcastle fans. They're all my friends, you know. So I'm delighted for them because they needed it. They've been struggling recently, and there's a lot of people that don't really like Bruce. And I just had the feeling tonight that they would set up to be difficult to break down. But I'll be honest with you, I thought Newcastle weren't going to get nothing tonight. And I did say that. So I'm not going to sort of be hypocritical and say, "Oh, I told you so." I knew they were going to get something because I didn't. But like when the 4 minutes went up on the board, I was just like, "Oh no!" Because it just kept coming and coming and coming. You probably see me tweeting through the game saying it's just this. They're giving the ball away too much here. But fair play to them, man. They dug in like bloody Darlow, man. People are asking for Dubravka to come back in now, but he's been absolutely amazing for Newcastle, honestly. Like, fantastic performance again tonight. And to a man, they stood up and they put their chests out and they went for Liverpool, you know. It wasn't an attacking display from Newcastle, but it's all about getting results sometimes. And it probably wasn't pretty from a Newcastle perspective, but that's what you've got to do against good teams. Like, let's be real, Liverpool are a fantastic team. I know we sort of banter them and that when they drop points, but they are a great team. And they're going to take some beating. So when you get the chance for them to drop points, you want it. And it's, as I say, it's just nice for me on a personal level to live in the city and actually get a positive result, because I put in the group chat with all my friends that I'm in, all Newcastle fans, saying I'm probably more happy at that result than they are, you know. So yeah, big props to Newcastle, man. They stood up to a man and played against a better team and got a positive result. So yeah. It's a shame we're on this lockdown now because I'd love to go and stand and wait for the Liverpool players to come out and greet them. But unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do that as I'm going into Tier 4 tomorrow. But who cares about Tier 4? Who cares about Tier 4?
You're going into Tier 4, Jamie. You have to abide by social distancing. Don't break the rules.
That's it, man. That's cheered me up. It's been pretty difficult day. I've got the cold. You can probably hear me sniffling. My nose is blocked, but that's just giving me something to celebrate after Tier 4 news today. So get in there.
Comment in here from Shane Dowdy. Shane Dowdy says you better start believing title races, Ollie. You're in one. Absolutely. Shane, you're absolutely bang on there, pal. Absolutely. Look, may as well delve into the show. Last night, Manchester United, we picked up a win in very, very late fashion. 92 minutes, 51 seconds. Marcus Rashford picks up a goal in Fergie time. Manchester United win 1-0 after a very, very tough and frustrating game for Manchester United players and Manchester United fans. Wolves, I know on the show, I know people are watching the other night. I thought the Wolves curse was going to be broke when we were going to win 4-0. I hold my hands up now and apologise. That didn't happen. But ultimately, we got the 3 points. And look, we solidified our position in second place at the moment with a game in hand. So in terms of the Wolves game yourself, Jamie, what do you think of the game? How do you assess it? Kind of any players' performances stand out for you?
Your haircut standing out for me and making me realise how much I should have got to the barbers, man. You're looking fresh. It's just a mess at the moment. But anyway, sorry. I'm looking at your hair thinking, I made a mistake here.
Just before you start there, lads, we have 32 people watching the video. If you're watching across Twitter on Periscope or you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on any different social media platform, jump over to YouTube video, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Loads of Manchester United content over here, as well as other clubs. So do get over to YouTube, get your comments in and get involved. Jamie, so how would you assess the game against Wolves?
I love Amy's comment, man. Absolutely class. Straight in there, no messing around. 21's coming. Back to the game. It was obviously a difficult watch, wasn't it? So let's be honest. It was like a bit tedious at times, and Wolves had some good chances. But do you know what it is, mate? Like, you can sit and analyse the game all night, can't you? But when we got the chance, we put the ball in the net, mate, and it's all about scoring goals and not getting scored past. You know, it sounds so stupid, but that's the name of this football game. And we rode our luck at times. I think we had some good opportunities to score goals as well, but it was just your traditional United performance where you're really hoping they get out the traps quickly and they don't, and then the midfield for me just wasn't working. Like, it was just too static. There wasn't any movement when we had the ball. It was like training pace. Sitting there thinking, come on, man. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, don't let this slip now. Like, we've got a great chance here. We're really pushing and we've got a bit of momentum. Like, come on, just up your game that 10% and we can get something here. And we sort of huffed and puffed, and eventually we got the goal. And I was having a bit of back and forth with some people on Twitter because I was a bit, I wouldn't say I was negative. It probably come across in my tweets, but I was just a bit frustrated, like that Ollie didn't sort of notice that midfield weren't working. It was too static for me. Like, it needed a little bit more creativity in there. I just don't think that it worked. Although I did think Matic played really well. Don't get me wrong, and Pogba played all right as well, but I just thought there was just a little bit of lack of urgency there. And the one negative I will say on it, and I'm not going to go into it too much because it was open the Ollie door, and everyone knows my stance that's seen me on here before. So his celebration to me really said a lot. Like that when he was sort of like swinging his arm, and I get it. Like, I was doing exactly the same on my couch, but it looked to me a guy that sort of was really happy that we'd nicked something there because he sort of thought that we were going to get a draw. That was the only thing for me. But yeah, you've probably got away with one there because you didn't change it, you know. Like, and but what I will say, I don't think Tellez played very well, and he took him off. So fair play to him. And I'm not saying that's a negative of Ollie, that celebration. Of course, I was celebrating as well. It was great to see, but I just thought it kind of settled for a draw. And at Old Trafford, in a game like that where we need to win, I don't want to see that, you know. So that was the only sort of, as I say, it's not a negative. So take it with whatever you will. And I kind of know what I mean by it. I was just a little bit like, I think they kind of accepted the draw, and I kind of don't ever want to see Man U just accept the draw at home. But we got the job done in the end, and Marcus come good, didn't he? And your boy set him up. So yeah, it was just it was a funny game, wasn't it? That's why I don't really have loads to say on it, because it was such a frustrating watch at times, and it was just a typical Man United game this season. They switch off for 20 minutes. There's not enough movement, enough cohesion. There's not enough teamwork together to set up little moves, and then we go and score the goal, and everybody's happy. And to be honest with you, I've thought about it today, and I don't really care about the performance now. I'm over it. I'm like, do you know what? We've just won, and then obviously what's happened tonight just made that even more important, because how gutting would it be if we didn't get the result yesterday, and that's just happened tonight. So finally, we've actually capitalised, which is quite nice. So no negatives from me, just a little moan about little bits and pieces, but I have a tendency to do that on Twitter anyway. Sometimes I just need to shut up and put my phone down and watch the game, because I'm trying to analyse it from what I think's going wrong, and sometimes I'm not right, you know. So Ollie knows best, and it's at the wheel, innit, and we're going forward. So
you just said them words. He
is. Look, do you know what it is? You've got me on here at 23 minutes past 10, and you don't expect me to say something controversial. He's at the wheel, Keane. You know he is.
Oh, no. Tim, I know if you're watching, this is going to be clipped up later that Ollie's at the wheel. Don't worry. That'll be up tomorrow. But anyway, look, I suppose my thoughts of the game, Jamie. As you can tell in the group chat last night, well, I've little hair left on my head now, but before I got my hair cut earlier on, I tore nearly every bit of hair I had out of my head last night. I was so frustrated. Because, again, as you said, at points in the game, there seemed to be a lack of urgency in the team, lack of kind of rhythm. But what I will say is that in the last 20 minutes, we started moving the ball a bit quicker. There was a bit more kind of impetus in our play. Yeah. I thought Pogba started coming into the game a bit more. Bruno was being Bruno. He was trying to get on the ball, get things forward. Rashford was trying things, but they weren't coming off at that specific time. But it seemed there was more drive in the play. I was shocked Mason came off, because I thought Mason was actually playing all right yesterday. I thought he was beating him and he was trying to get a shot off. But look, Martial, you can't really fault Martial as well. When he came on, he gave us something different. He was being direct, and he was taking on players. Now look, people talk about kind of the couple of missed chances that were there, but really and slowly, you look at it now, the game in a nutshell, we can analyse it till the cows come home. Yeah, but look, at the end of the day, we got 3 points, and that's the biggest thing. In the last 7 years, right, Man United, when the chips have been down and we need to win, they capitalise on our other rivals' results. It's never happened. We've never actually done it. But right now, we've done it. And it's massive. And
that was the thing for me. Like, I just thought, I was sitting there in the last sort of 10 minutes, and I thought, do you know what? When the chips are down with United and they really need to get a result, like the Seville game and stuff like that, I'm thinking, are we just going to be that team that can never sort of get past this struggle? And we did, you know. And do you know, I think there's a lot of positives there, Keane. Obviously, you mentioned the group chat, and you were we were all going mad in there last night. But it's like there does seem a little bit of a personality about this team, and it's not always about winning pretty. Like, we're not going to have performances like Leeds all the time. So Tim's in here. He is going to snip me on that at the wheel thing.
Shout out to Tim. Tim says Liverpool look mentally gone. If anyone follows me on Twitter, and you're watching now, if you're not following me on Twitter, get me at Keane_Franey, because the tweet I just put up before the game ended, I said, Ollie Showtime Reds have Liverpool rattled. Tim just reiterated my point on Twitter. Again,
I don't know if I don't particularly agree with that. I know where he's getting from. Like, they don't look as good as they did, but they had loads of chances tonight. Like, another game, they're going to put them away. You know, like Liverpool should have won the game tonight. Let's be real. As much as we're all delighted that they didn't, they should have won. They had more than enough chances.
Yeah,
a couple of clearances off the line.
They didn't win because they're thinking about how Bruno was going to put that penalty past them on the January 17th. But anyway, commenting for Shane, he says Bruno and Rashford were very bad in my opinion, but still managed to win us the game. 2 world-class players. I absolutely agree. Bruno and Rashford,
I think that was Bruno's worst game for United, to be honest. I was going to tweet that last night, but I thought, do you know what? Like, I will get absolute pelters if I put that tonight. So I was going to put it just before we scored, actually, and I'm so glad I didn't because I lost my followers quick time. But I don't think he was great last night. I'll be honest. I know you love him, and so do I. I love him as well. How can you not love him? He's magnifico, isn't he? But I did think he struggled last night. He looked like a player that had played one too many games. And then he comes up with the assist. So what do I know? Like I said, maybe I don't know nothing about football, Keenan. Maybe you need to get Shane and that back on here because maybe I'm useless, you know.
Shane will be back on. Don't worry. I think me and Shane, we're gonna. I think what we're gonna do is myself and Shane. I think we're gonna record a show at the end of the season, right? At the end of the season, and hypothetically speaking, if Manchester United win a trophy and win a league, let's say that if United win the league, I'm coming on here saying the Pledge of Allegiance to Bruno Fernandes. That's what I'm going to do. It's not the Pledge of Allegiance to America. It's the Pledge of Allegiance to Bruno Fernandes.
Honestly, even thinking of Man U winning the title on FIFA at the moment gets me excited. Gets me excited, you know. So imagine if we won the title, man. Christ. I think I'd sit on my couch crying, man. Particularly if I couldn't be in Manchester for it. How heartbreaking would that be, man?
Yeah. Imagine.
I don't even want to think about that this time of night. I'll get emotional. I'll get the I'll get the whiskey out.
Looking ahead to the massive fixture against Aston Villa. Aston Villa are a very, very good side. I know it's a massive game for United and we expect to win this game. But let's be real. Villa are a very, very good team, have a lot of quality players in the side. Yeah. And they have a thing for beating teams above them. They beat Liverpool 7-2. They beat, well, I wouldn't really call Arsenal a good team, but they beat Arsenal at the Emirates 3-0. You know, they got the result against Chelsea the other night. Like, they are a very formidable team. So by no means, as a Man United fan, I'm not going to underestimate Villa by any way, shape, or form. Even though we have our qualities that we should put them away. We have a comment here from Azair. He says, "Hi guys, hi Azair, how are you this evening?" And he says that he's buzzing about the Liverpool results, or buzzing for the Villa game, or is it both? Let us know in the comments. But yeah, like you look at it, this game, Jamie, massive significance. You look at Villa, like, very good team. I just mentioned their results, and that's just results against the so-called big sides. Yeah. They have a lot of quality in the team, most notably probably one of my favourite non-United players in the Premier League at the moment, Jack Grealish. They've John McGinn, Douglas Luiz, Ross Barkley, though I don't know if he's fit to play. Ollie Watkins, Tyrone Mings. I could go on and on about some of the quality players that they have. And they're playing very good football as well this season. So, look, we, as Man United fans and the Manchester United team as a whole, we can't underestimate Villa because they're a top side. For you, how are you feeling about this game on New Year's Day? Just considering all things considered, very short turnaround, and look, it's a massive game for all considered.
Yeah, it's obviously it's got added significance now, but do you know what it is? Like, every game, if we're gonna sort of go on a run and we are gonna sort of be there or thereabouts at the end of the season, like, every game is a massive game now. Like, it's not just. I've heard quite a lot of people say, "Oh, it's a massive game, Wolves, massive game, Villa." Like, every game is going to be a massive game now. So, and I'm expecting us to drop points. I'm expecting teams around us to drop points. I'm expecting Liverpool to drop more points. There ain't any invincible team out there at the moment. And it's like you say, like, when you're going and playing Villa, like, they're a tough team. They've got some really quality players. You just listed half of them. They've got a good manager. He's well organised. They're hard to beat. They've got a good centre-back pairing. It's going to be a difficult game, but I feel like the players need to step up to the plate now, and they're playing for Man United, like, there isn't ever a small game when you play for Manchester United. So it's a case of they've got to take a bit of responsibility and make sure they're giving 110%. And if they do, they'll get the job done. We've got too many good players to not be able to see off Villa if we're at it. If we're at it and they're at it, we win. So it's just about switching on now and getting the results and keeping the pressure on, because we're not at the top yet. People ain't chasing us. People ain't chasing us. We're chasing them at the moment. So until we're at the top of the tree, we've got to sort of keep looking up and getting results and putting pressure on the teams above us and around us as well. So I'm expecting a pretty tough game. You're still laughing about that picture, yeah. So,
there's a reason why that picture is up on social media at the moment. We all know why. We all know why. But yeah, look, I agree. Look, I think if Man United are at it. If we're at it on Friday, we pick up them 3 points. You just historically with Manchester United at this moment in time, look, there is times where we do drop points, but we've turned a corner since the Leipzig game. I really do think we've turned a serious corner. I think the players are playing for Ollie. I know I've said this already on previous shows, but the players are playing for him, and you've seen we're getting results. Even when we're not playing well, we're getting results. And then against Everton, we destroyed them at Goodison Park, got the result. We seem to be we're riding a good wave of momentum at the moment, and we do really need to keep this up.
We've got a good squad, Keane. Like, we've got a good squad of players, you know. So, and hopefully we're going to add to it in January. I know Traore is coming in. Yeah, thank you very much, Tim. Appreciate that, fella. Thank you. He's the only one that thinks that. If you spoke to my mother, Tim, she'd probably tell you differently. But cheers, mate, for the comment anyway. He's always involved in the comments as well. Appreciate it, Tim. Keep it up, man. Yeah, so it's one of them. Like, we've got a good team now, Keane. Do you know what I mean? We've got a good squad of players, and I feel like if we can add a little bit of quality in the January window and go and get maybe a couple of sort of younger players. I know Saicedo's been linked. He looks like he's a lot of potential. So if we can go and add players like that to the team, we do have a really good team. I know we were sort of talking about this the other day, like about sort of who could come in and who might go out and stuff like that. And we're only, I've said it on your platform and on a couple of different platforms that I've spoken about this. We're only a couple of players away, I think, a couple of specialist players in certain positions, and we're good to go, man. So that's helping us, that the fact that we do have that squad depth, because we haven't had that for years. So we've had sort of like, remember when we were sort of struggling in the game and we were bringing on like Andreas Pereira, or Joe Garner, or someone like that. Yeah, Mata, like Pereira, players like that to try and win a game. Whereas now we're bringing on a Pogba or a Donny or players like that. So it's,
or Greenwood or Cavani. Like, there's so many. Like,
that's what I mean. There's so much quality in there, and like I know Cavani was a sort of bit of a panic buy at the time, but it's good because he's given us a little bit more of a focal point in attack. I mean, I don't think he played his best game last night, but it's his presence. Like, he's a world-class football player, you know, and it seems to be sort of giving the group the confidence that they can sort of go and get these last-minute winners and stuff. And that's a good habit to get into. I tweeted it last night. Scoring a last-minute winner that's a sign of a good team, because that's the Man United way, Keane. You know, you'll know yourself, mate. You're a massive United fan, just like myself. Everyone in the comments as well. United have made history on scoring late goals, but we haven't seen that in the past couple of years. Like, we've settled for draws. Like,
interesting fact on that, Jamie. Since you brought that up, that's the latest goal Manchester United have scored since the game against Manchester City.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it under Ferguson, we used to do it all the time, but them games like one to two, maybe 3 years ago, where they're like, do you know what I mean? They just are. Like, we run out of ideas, we run out of personnel that we can bring on the pitch, and it's a case of we drop points in games that we should win because we didn't take our chances, and we just lacked that little bit of creativity off of the bench. And now we've got that. And I see Shane's comment there as well about Max Aarons. That's another.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up after you made your point. To have it there right on the screen.
Yeah, like he's another good. Like, United it seems like Ollie's trying to build a squad now, and I kind of like what I'm doing. I have been a bit on the fence with Ollie, and I'm not going to be sort of hypocritical and say, I was never Ollie out and stuff. I've never been Ollie out, but I've never really been Ollie in either. I've been like, he's an interim manager. We'll see what he's doing.
It's the profile of player he's going for, though, Jamie.
I'm with him now, mate. I'm with him. And if people want to stick me on Twitter and stuff, some of my mates back home,
Shane will probably come at you now in the comments now.
Yeah, he's given me. I've had my mates like, you're Ollie out, and ever said Ollie out. Like, I've been like, we've got to probably look at something now, but we're looking for the right type of player, and he's identifying players that have got different sort of abilities and different styles of play. And like, United don't just play one style of play. I've started like studying Ollie's games and how he's setting up against certain types of teams and how they play and how we're trying to counteract it. And he's trying to bring the players in to match that. So when he does play a counter-attacking game, he's got the players to play that position. If he wants to play a diamond, he's got the players to play that positions. So it's all positives, man. I mean, I could talk all night about the tactics. Obviously, we don't have time, but it's good that he's going for a certain type of young player. That's what Man United are all about. Ferguson never went and bought the superstars. He had a little look around England and plucked certain players like Rooney, from Everton. We were always in the English talent, and if we go after Max Aarons and maybe we give them Laird on loan or something, that's a good move for Man United because it's a long-term longevity move. So all positives for me anyway. I'm going to stop talking because I've talked enough.
No problem. I just want to bring up Tim's comment again because I want to elaborate on that point. Tim said, like, we talked about growth in the last show, Jamie, getting results in big games, step forward against Wolves for this team. Yes, I absolutely agree, Tim. Like, you look at that result, I think that we're seeing that progression under Ollie that we haven't seen under many managers. Is when shit is hitting the fan with Manchester United are digging deep and we're going in and getting results and we're showing fight and determination that we haven't shown in the last 7 years. And now look, where Ollie sometimes has deficiencies tactically, he's starting to learn in the job. And I think since I keep bringing up, but since that Leipzig game, Manchester United really have turned the corner. But he's really turned the corner, and I think we're getting better, and we're riding this wave of momentum now. Joe, we're onto something, and I want to come to Shane's comment. Shane's comment here. He says, "I don't like Ollie's a coach, but he has the right ideas. If we can get the right squad or backroom staff to compensate for his weaknesses, I'd be very happy. At the moment, he's getting the best out of the players. So let's see how the next few games go. I'm optimistic at the moment." That's bang on. I'd agree with that. Like, one thing I was actually going to say about January, I was going to say it later on in the show, but I'm going to say it now. One of the things Manchester United we actually could do to like help Ollie a lot is get a defensive coach in. I think a defensive coach would help Ollie so much because we have deficiencies in our defense that we're still seeing. Even though we kept a clean sheet last night, that's fantastic. But long term, a defensive coach would be unbelievable. Like when Fergie had like the likes of Carlos Queiroz there, in that respect, he was someone who helped drill the United's defense at that time when he was there as Ferguson's assistant coach. He was someone who done a lot on the training pitch. I don't know how hands-on Ollie actually is on the training pitch. I know Carrick and McKenna are real kind of hands-on from a coaching aspect. They're really hands-on. But in that regard, like as kind of Tim and Shane are saying, like you get a defensive coach in there. You get kind of more experienced coaches in alongside Ollie from a coaching aspect to work on the training ground. It could really go a long way. And you're seeing kind of the players now United are looking at. Amad Diallo, Pellistri, Caicedo, Max Aarons, all players who are young profile of player who have great potential and have one thing that Manchester United always done previously down the years is developing players and development.
That's the big word.
Development is the big word there because post Alex, Jamie, we haven't done it. We went from the Manchester United way to going out and trying to buy Galacticos and players in this club, players in that club, like Di Maria's, Falcao's, Alexis Sanchez. I can go on and on about some of these players.
It's not sustainable either. It's not
sustainable. And you look at it now, the direction the club is taking, I'm liking the direction, even from a recruitment standpoint now. I know we don't have a director of football in there now, but someone must be getting into Ed Woodward's here now in terms of the players we're linked with, the players we're actually going and approaching. Yeah. There's something happening there at the club, and I feel like we are taking the turn at the moment, and hopefully this continues, and we're all still positive come the end of the season. But at the moment, look, if you go back earlier on this podcast, go back to around September, October time, I was like an antichrist on this show because the way I thought the direction of the club was going in terms of those transfers, in terms of the ownership, in terms of the Ed Woodward. Look, everyone knows my feelings on Ed Woodward and the Glazers. I'm not going to go on that rant tonight because, look, this is an Aston Villa preview. But at the end of the day, looks like we are now starting to head in the right direction. We're on a good moment. We've ended 2020 in the right way, and we've ended this is the best position Manchester United have been in post of Alex Ferguson. So we have to be positive. I think that's what we do have to be. We have to be positive, and we have to get behind the team. I think that's so important. That is so important that we do that.
I'll tell you where I am with the whole thing as well, Keane, without going too much into detail on it. I'll have a laugh with you lads on in the group chat about my FIFA career mode and stuff and I know it's a little bit of banter with everybody in there, but I'm a manager that I say I'm a manager. I'm obviously not a manager. I'm an assistant manager for anybody that's interested for a under 11s team. But they don't call me Jamie Nigelsmann on the touchline for nothing. I'm joking. But my team is top of the league and we're unbeaten in 9 games, just to get that one out there. But yeah, and I've only been there for 9 games. So what you will. I mean, I'm only joking. I'm blowing my own trumpet. The lads are doing great. But how I see football is I like you get your 11 and then you have players backing up them players that are a little bit younger, that have got a little bit more flexibility to their game, and that's what I like to see. As in, if I was a manager of a club, I would be looking to buy understudy players that are a little bit younger that I can work with and get them, mold them into the style of player I want. If you're talking about a right back, I like my wing backs to be able to go in inverted or out the outside of players. Like, be comfortable in possession, getting the ball in tight spaces. Don't automatically look for a ping up the pitch, play out from the back. But that's just the way I see football. I could talk to you all night on how I see football, and people might say, "No, I don't agree with that," and that's fine. But I've watched football since I was a young boy. I'm obsessed with the whole Johan Cruyff thing. Like, I've watched every single Ajax documentary there is on YouTube. So I've got a way I like football to be played, and I kind of feel that Ollie's going down that route as well, of where he's looking at younger players and thinking, do you know what? I can potentially bring him in on the cheap. And you'll know me for my snidey little transfer windows on my Fulham save. I only spend about 6 million net every season.
Ed Woodward,
but no, but that's like, I know it's a joke about FIFA, but that's how I see the game. Like, it's not always about going for them Galactico signings. It's, if you're very shrewd in the market, you can buy relatively cheaply, and you can buy a player that's got an individual ability. Like, he might be really good going forward, but he might struggle possession-wise. And if you bring him in at the right age and coach him, like you said, with good quality coaches, you can turn a fullback into the next Alexander-Arnold or the next whoever you want the development and the growth, and he's got the attributes already to bring a certain type of game into the team, like an attacking fullback. But if you want him to be a bit more comfortable on the ball and play out from the back and not be scared to receive the ball, because I think that's Wan-Bissaka. I'm just talking about right back. I could talk about the whole team, but I'm not going to bore everyone with it. Like, Wan-Bissaka panics when he goes past the halfway line. It's like his defensive game, and when players are coming towards him, he reads that, he reads what they're doing and intercepts the ball 9 times out of 10. But when he gets over the halfway line and he's got space to go into, I know I put in the group chat earlier, he's turning into Valencia, turn back Tony, because it's every single time it's the same move, and it's a back pass either to Matic or Pogba. It's always into the midfield or someone that's, instead of actually being positive and going down the touchline and getting a cross in. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but like, I like an attacking fullback that can cross the ball. Like, that's why I quite like. I also appreciate what Shaw can offer as well. They're different types of players, and I can see with Ollie's recruitment that he is trying to get players that have got different attributes to players he's got in the team already, and he's bringing them in young, like Palestri, like Caicedo potentially, like Aaron's if we go and get him, and they're young enough to be molded into the Man United player, you know. So it's very positive from me, and I like that. My recruitment, if I was a manager, would be towards younger players that have got an individual attribute that I like in their game, hence why I want to sign them. But they're young enough and they're naive enough, so to speak, for me to say, do you know what? Yeah, you're great at this, but I want to be able to develop your game so you can do this, this, and this. I've done it with some under 11s players. I had a boy that was playing defensive midfield, and as soon as I seen him play, I thought this kid can play as a cam. He's not a defensive player, and he's like he's our top goal scorer. I'm not even joking. His name's Lewis. He's a class little player. But he was playing defensive midfield because he helped the team a lot, winning the ball back. He's probably one of the best players on the team, but we didn't have a defensive midfield. So I've took a guy that was playing centre back, moved him into central midfield, and now he's a big lad and he just barges everybody off the ball. He's like your modern day crusher, and like no one gets past him, and he's so aggressive. And I've built him up in here to think you're unstoppable, mate. Like no one's going to touch you in that position. And he's made it his own. And like he didn't even get a game before. He was coming on as a sub centre back, has no pace at all. Now he's sitting in front of my little back two, and he's doing bits. And I've pushed Lewis up more, and I think he's got like 7 goals in like the last 3 games. So it's just about development, and especially at that, I know that level to Man United's level is just incomparable. But you've got to like try and work out certain attributes in players, and that's what I think Ollie's doing. So it's all positive for me.
Yeah, and like I was going to come to Tim's comment there as well. Is like you can clearly see with the amount of young players we bought worldwide, we've shifted focus from mercenaries to development. Ed has publicly backed Ollie for his project as well. Look, if Ed Woodward can back Ollie and we go down this route, for me, I'm on board. I'm fully behind that, and we can go ahead and we can push and make something positive of this. I really am. Jamie, kind of moving on to Villa, because like look. Well, I know we've kind of went off base, but it's been a very relevant conversation.
I go off on one sometimes if I bore anyone in the comments.
This is why I love having you on. But like in terms of this, Jamie, like massive game. Villa are a big threat, but we have our own threats too. For you, I'm just going to come to you straight away with this. In terms of starting 11s, we have played a lot of football now through this festive period.
Yeah,
Villa are an open team, and I think, look, for me, I'm not going to come across as the arrogant man here, but I think Aston Villa will play into our hands. I think if Ollie sets up right, Villa will play into our hands, and we should pick them apart. I think that's depending on personnel. But for you, I'm going to come to you. What's the starting 11 you'd like to see against Aston Villa?
I would counteract what they're doing. They play a 3 in midfield, and they play McGinn, who's a defensive-minded midfield player, but he's more of a central midfielder. He's more than capable of getting box to box. And they've got Douglas Luiz, who is a Brazilian defensive midfielder that can play the ball from very deep. I actually do really like him, actually. So I feel like if we counteract their 2 sort of defensive midfielders with 2 attacking players in our midfield, I would go for a 3 as well. And I would go for I feel like maybe it's just I'm being sentimental, but I really like him, and I think he's going to be an ace player. And I feel like Donny's got to come into the team. Like we've got to somehow start integrating him, because you can't pay 35 million or whatever we paid for him and just don't play him. And he ain't played for 2 games now. Like he's a quality player, you know. I don't know if there's something going on or why he's not playing, or he ain't fitting the system at the moment. I don't know what it is, but I would play him or Paul. I would play obviously Fernandez. I'd play Paul O'Donnell, and I'd play I think Fred will probably play. But I'll go through my team now. But I feel like that's where we can win the game. Where if we can counteract their midfield 3 with our own midfield 3 with a little bit more intricacy in there. But against Aston Villa, Old Trafford, I'd go with De Gea in goal. I'd go with Bissaka right back, because purely for the fact of I don't think we've got another right back that can play it at the moment. You could play Axel there, but when you've got a proper right back, I'm not one for playing centre backs at right back. So if I'm more than happy for Axel to play there against a lower team, but we really need a result. So I would go with Bissaka, but I would Ollie needs to sort of have a word with him and maybe work with him in training. It comes back to the whole training thing, because he needs to improve in the other half of the pitch. Defensively, there's no one going to question him. He's probably the best defensive fullback in the league. But you need a little bit more than that when you play for Man United. I'd go with Bissaka. I'd go with I'm not going to go into detail here why I'm picking these players like I usually do, because I do understand it's quite late and you'll want to do yours as well. I'd go with Bailey, because I thought he was fantastic the other night. I'm a bit funny with Bailey. I feel like he's a fantastic player and I absolutely love him. He's one of my favourite players, but he's just got a mistake in him. but he played absolutely out of his skin the other night, and his pace really, really benefits the team when he's in the team. When he's in the team, he's on it and he's fit. He starts for me. I don't care who else is playing next to him. He starts because he's got all the attributes that we miss. I'd put him next to Maguire because he's play. I'd go with Luke Shaw against Aston Villa because I feel like they do have very creative wide players, and we need somebody that's a bit better defensive. I think Tellez is struggling a little bit at the moment. Maybe he's not finding his feet. He seems a little bit hesitant, whipping the ball in at times, passes back a little bit too much for my liking at the moment. I kind of wish he was that fullback at Porto, but maybe he's not used to the league yet. But anyway, I'll move on because I don't want to waste too much time talking about him. I'd go with a midfield of Fred, Donny van de Beek, and Donny van de Beek or Pogba. Sorry, I had to come back to that because I don't know which one I would pick. But let's just say Donny for conversational sakes because I think he needs to be brought in. I would go with your boy, Bruno. And then I would go with a front three. I would go Rashford on the right, on the left. Sorry. I would go with. Do you know what? I might get a bit of stick for this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I would bring Mata in on the right because I feel like this is going to be a game where we're going to have to be a little bit more cute because they've got some really good centre-backs in the air. And I feel like if we're going to whip crosses in, they'll have a field day with us all night. So I would go with maybe Mata on the right, Marcus on the left, and I would go with Marshall through the middle. And that's pretty strange for me because anybody that knows me knows I love a Tarzan. So, but purely for the fact of, like I said, I think they'll beat us in the air. So I think we need somebody a little bit more tricky on the floor. And I feel like Marshall's got something to prove at the moment. So that would be my team for this specific game. It wouldn't be my team going forward. But against Villa, I think there's reasons why I'd pick that team. For everyone with explaining why and how my team would counteract their individual players and their position. I think that's probably the better options. They've got Cash and they've got I don't know who their left back is, Target I think it is. I feel like Mata drifting in would cause them a little bit of a problem down there, and I feel like Matty Cash is quite a pacey fullback. So I feel like if we play Rashford on the left, he'll be thinking, "Oh, I can't push too much forward because if I do, it's going to leave space for Rashford." And Rashford and Marshall are quite comfortable switching in that left-sided position anyway. So that's the team I would go with. But anyway, I'm gonna shush now and you tell me your team.
You're okay, Jamie. You're okay. There's no need. For me, I'm going to go with the diamond. The diamond is coming back for me in this game. I'm going to go with David De Gea in goal. He was great last night. Pulled off good saves. And look, at the moment, there's no need to take him out. Aaron Wan-Bissaka right back because look, we don't have anybody else to play there. Centre back, then I'm going to go with the same centre back pairing: Eric Bailly and Harry Maguire.
Yeah,
we might be on the cusp of a partnership there. Hopefully, I'm right. And they do complement each other. At left back, he done very well the other night when he came on, and I want to see him again start this game. I'm going to go with Luke Shaw at left back. Then in the sitting position, I'm going to go with Scott McTominay. I don't think Matic can play on such a quick turnaround. So for me, Scott McTominay comes in, his fresh legs. In this game against a high-paced Villa team, I think Scott McTominay is kind of tailor-made for this game. To the right of him, I have Fred. I think Fred in the more advanced out of the two. I don't think with this diamond you play to the two sitters. You play Fred to the right of him so he can break things up. He gives kind of Wan-Bissaka that bit of protection as well. Then even though you could probably play Scott to the right of it and Fred sitting tit for tat. It depends who you really want there, but you can play either one to two in that position. But McFred is back in this game. To the left of my diamond, I have Paul Pogba. Again, look, left of a midfield 3 or midfield 2, whatever, Paul Pogba excels. And he played really well there against Everton as well. Picked up a lot of good positions, played very well, spraying passes around. And you've seen the last 20 minutes again, Paul Pogba was starting to pick it up again. And I said on another platform yesterday that, I thought Paul Pogba, since Leipzig has justified his position in the starting team, I'm not going to say justify his position at the club because, again, look, we all know what's gone on there, and I've made my comments on my feelings about his agent. I don't need to talk about that anymore. In attacking midfield, again, the best midfield player in the world, Bruno Fernandes. There's no even explanation. Just what I've just said there is the explanation. And up front, I'm going to go with Edison Cavani and Anthony Martial. For me, I think Marcus should get a rest. He definitely can play a role off the bench. I think this is a game where you'd use a bit of squad rotation. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes is probably the player you don't drop. Because look, we have options like Mason and Marcus to come off the bench to give us something different if we do need it. And I think, look, Martial, I think bringing him on, he has something to prove up front with Cavani, and that could do a very good job because you have a mix of brute. You have a brute up there in Cavani who can get on the ball, but also Martial can do that too. He can beat a player, and he when he's on song, he is good. So, like, look, I think Marcus will obviously definitely be involved in the second half. Greenwood coming off the bench is a good option. We obviously have options like Juan Mata or something like that to kind of give us something in the pockets in the second half. We do need it, and obviously Donny van de Beek. I know I've been talking about Donny kind of not getting into the team, but like I've said this before and I'll say it again. If you have the choice of an on-form Paul Pogba or an on-form Donny van de Beek, who are you choosing?
Yeah, that's why I was a little bit
I know how much we love Donny van de Beek, and like I love him. I think he's a fantastic player, and ultimately I think he's Pogba's replacement in the summer when Pogba leaves, right? But if you be honest with each other, and I know there's loads of Pogba fans who watch this show, right? And I has arguments with him the whole time. But if you be real and you're sitting there as a manager, I'm a manager myself. Like, I've managed before, and like I've had to make decisions before. And you're sitting in the dressing room and you have to make a decision. You play this player or that player, but you know that player, like, his attitude sometimes might be questionable, but you know his quality.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like when the chips are down at the moment, like, and you have two players who are on form, who are you picking? You're picking Paul Pogba. There's like, even Shane knows, like, I'm on Pogba's back a lot since the summer. I really am. I'm still on Pogba's back, but I need to be real because I speak the truth and I speak what's on my mind. And if you have an on-form Paul Pogba, you have an on-form Donny van de Beek, who starts? It's Paul Pogba all day long. Like that's a fact.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. It's a hard decision, and it's like you say, you'll know as well. You've said you've managed as well, and it's difficult. Like I have to do it sometimes. You know, I've got to look at two kids, and I can only pick one of them, and I've got to go with the one that I think is gonna suit the style of the game that I'm wanting to play, and it's a bit more straightforward at under 11's age. Don't get me wrong, but I like to win. I'm a pretty bad loser, to be honest. So I'm that manager that sort of celebrates a last-minute winner at an under 11's game, and I give zero fucks as well, if I'm honest. But it's something personal, ain't it? And it must. I can't imagine like sort of having to watch them two in training and think, right, one of you is not playing, because they're both very good players, but you've just nailed it on the head. If they're both at 100%, like, you're picking Pogba, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? So he can offer a lot more. Donny's a traditional Ajax bred player, very comfortable on the ball in tight positions, can play little intricate 1-2s, whereas Pogba's got the lot. He can spray a ball 40 yards. He can have a shot from far out. He can play them little passes, them little side passes to oncoming fullbacks and stuff like that. So yeah, I agree with you with that.
Yeah, like, look, to be honest, like, I don't agree with what Paul Pogba's done and what his agent's done. But
it does leave a bit of a bad taste.
Yeah, like, let's be honest, like, look, we want him gone in the summer, but he's an asset that you use while he's at the club, right? He is, like, it's like anything. He's like a house or a car at the moment. He's literally an asset. You mightn't like it. You mightn't like the car you drive to work every day. You mightn't like the house you're living in. You might be looking at a different house on the market. But while you have it, you make it the best use of it. And that's where we are with Paul Pogba. In that regard, he's an asset. You use him now until ultimately you might see pastures nil eventually. But at this moment in time, you use him to his best of his ability, because if you have non-form Paul Pogba and you're looking to challenge for a title, there's not many midfield players in the world when he's on form that are better than him. Like
No, I
there
think
isn't.
you've got to, like you say, you've got to use him while he's here. Long term, he's not going to be here, so maybe we've just got to enjoy him. But it's all about effort for me. I'll never question Paul Pogba being in the lineup if he's going to give what Paul Pogba can give. It's when he's strolling through games. It's when he's not too bothered. He's not looking for them passes. He's not
You
making
see
them
that's where all
progressive
these
runs.
after dropping him. You've seen that now in recent months. When
Yeah.
Paul Pogba hasn't been on it, he's been hooked out of the team.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Because of the midfield options we have now, we have McTominay, we have Fred, we have a Matic, we have a Donny, we have the best midfielder in the world.
Yeah,
We're not short of midfield options.
that's it, and it's one of them. I'm just hoping there's work being done with Van de Beek on the training pitch, because there is going to be a gap there when he leaves, and yeah, definitely. I really like Jack Grealish, you know.
Yeah,
Like,
we've said that.
I would love to see him. I would love to see him at Man United, man. He's just so switched on the ball, man. He's probably one of the top 3 players in the league. I just love watching him play. He can create. He's got it all. He can score goals. He can create. He works hard for his team. He's got an eye for a pass. Like it's more his creativity side that I like. But he works really hard as well. People don't ever talk about that with Grealish, and you need that as a Man United player as well. Like I said earlier, it ain't just about having one string to your bow when you're playing for Man United. You've got to have multiple attributes to be a Man United player long term. So he would fit the bill. I definitely agree with that one. I'd be delighted.
And Tim's comment just aligns with literally everything we've been saying right now. It said benefits for both parties for him to play well. Money will be needed to be used wisely in the summer by a lot of clubs. He'll want to win the league, so he's just in the shop window. Take it while he's here. Absolutely. Like, again, he's an asset. You use the asset while he's here. Absolutely. I think look, it benefits all parties. If we go on and win the league this year, or win the Europa League, or win an FA Cup, or something like that, we finish in the top 4. That puts Paul Pogba in the shop window. We get our 80 million back for him. We go out and buy a Jack Grealish, or we go out and buy whoever else in midfield to come in and replace him. He gets his medal. He goes off to Real Madrid, PSG, Juventus, whoever in God's name buys him. It's a win-win situation for all of us. And if we don't have to circus around the club, we get our money, we get a trophy. Like, you know, who's complaining? All things considered.
And I think we can. I think we can win a trophy this year. I can just speak for myself, obviously, because I'm my own guy with my own opinion. But I'll be gutted if we don't win a trophy this year. I feel like we've got a really good squad. I'll be honest, and I've said it on multiple occasions, so I'm not saying anything I ain't said before. I don't think we'll win the league. I do think we'll come up a little bit short, although. You never know. Like, do you know? I would love us to win the league, but we're gonna drop points. Like, whether you like it or not, it's gonna happen. Like, because we are inconsistent at times, and that don't just go away in like 6 months. So and if we can keep a run going and stay there or thereabouts, you really never know. But there's other trophies out there as well. You know, like if we can get past Sociedad, which is a very difficult game. We've got a chance of winning the Europa League. The only team I don't think we can beat in I don't think we can beat. I do think we can beat them, but it's Tottenham. Like, you know, that's the only team in that competition where I think that might be a pretty difficult game over 2 legs.
You know what, though? I'm just going to say it now, though, Jamie. Spurs are starting to show that they're Spurs again. The last couple of weeks, Spurs are being Spurs.
That's what I mean, though, Keane. Like, when I say we're going to be inconsistent, it's happening with every team. So I'm not sort of sitting here and trying to be all negative. Oh, he's saying we're going to drop points. Why can't he be happy we're in the title race? I'm delighted we're in the title race, but we are going to drop points. Like, and other teams will drop points as well. The important thing is we don't drop too many points, and we keep our momentum. I don't think, hand on heart, there's any fan listening to this or anyone on our social media platforms that doesn't think we're not going to drop points at all. It is going to happen. We've got some tough games coming up, you know what I mean? And it will happen, but it's about stemming the curve of dropping that point. In the past couple of years, we've dropped points. We've went on a great run, and we've dropped points for the next 3 to 4 weeks instead of like just dropping points one weekend, and the next weekend we're back on the winning run again. We've seemed to sort of, when we hit a wall, we really hit a wall, and we hit that wall for 3 or 4 games. But I'm hoping we're getting that out of our system, and we can sort of get a little bit of consistency there. Sorry, that comment took. I was trying to read it and you pinged it off. Big Owen is here. Shout out to Owen as well. Yeah, so that's my take on it. It's not a negative spin. If it's coming across that way, it completely isn't the case at all. It's just a case of I'm realistic. I know we're gonna sort of drop points, but it's about not dropping too many points, and then we're there. You know, like you see what happened tonight at St James's Park, and shout out Newcastle as well. Fucking get in there, but dude. But no, that's my take on it. Everyone is in this league. This league is very unpredictable, and it's about not dropping a lot of points, and you're going to be there or thereabouts. That's my opinion, anyway.
And I'm just going to point out something before we get to score predictions. 2 things. Firstly, trending on Twitter right now is 21 is coming. So that's trending on Twitter in the UK. So do keep hashtagging that, lads, because the more we hashtag it, the more that's happening. You know how much Manchester United love their social media interaction. So keep tweeting that. 21 is coming. And also a question asked by Manchester United. I'm going to ask the lads in the comments this as well. This is a question that's been asked by Man United, and I'm going to answer this too. So is Jamie. Who would win the snowball fight? Paul Scholes or Marcus Rashford? Now, here's both of their attributes, right? Paul Scholes is accuracy, distance, and vision. Rashford is speed, finishing, and technique. So I'm going to leave that to Jamie first. Who would win a snowball fight between Paul Scholes and Marcus Rashford?
Paul Scholes for me. Doesn't matter where he wants to put the snowball. If it's from his right foot, it's going exactly where he wants it. So on that note, I'll leave it there. What's your answer?
My answer is, do you know what? Yeah, it would be Scholesy all day for me. Like, even though Marcus Rashford would be one of them little fuckers that you just can't hit because he's so quick, like running away. But yeah, I think Scholesy just can do anything with the eye of the needle.
Cracking question at this festive time.
Yeah, in the festive time of year, that's a great question. Whoever else in the comments there, do drop it in. Tim, Owen, whoever's watching else on Twitter or Facebook or YouTube, drop it into the comments there. And look, again, if you're watching on YouTube, do smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. So we've a great family over here in the weekly armchair kickoff, and this literally is the last video of 2020 because tomorrow's New Year's Eve. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm having a few drinks tomorrow, so I will not be seen on this channel tomorrow or probably the day after that. So yeah, this is the last video of 2020. So do smash a like on the video for the weekly armchair kickoff for 2020. If you do like the channel, do smash a like in the video. So final part of the show, and this is always like one of my favorite part of the shows. Every week, whether it's the United show, whether it's the weekly armchair podcast, or on the London show when I do appear on it sporadically. For me, I'm going to come to you first. Score predictions.
Against Aston Villa.
Yeah.
I think it'll be quite a cagey game for the first 45 minutes. I don't think either team will commit too much. But I think we'll get the job done. With everything that's happened, particularly the result today, I think the players will be going into training tomorrow with a real spring in their step. And I do feel like that's going to give us a boost. And to be honest with you, I just think we'll have too much for Aston Villa. So I think we'll win it comfortably tomorrow. I think either a 2-0 or 3-1. I'm hoping a 2-0 because we could really do with a clean sheet. That will really boost us. But I do expect us to get the job done tomorrow.
We've come in from Amy, and she's after taking my score prediction away from me as well.
Not tomorrow,
Amy said 3-1 Manchester United and Bruno Fernandes penalty. So again, Amy has predicted a Bruno penalty, and she predicts 3-1. So for me, I was going to say 3-1.
I was talking to someone earlier, mentioned that I was coming on here later. I won't name them, but they'll know who they are. And they did say I'm waiting for the Bruno propaganda from Keane tonight. So yeah, they'll know who they are because they watch it.
Do you know what? I barely even spread any Bruno propaganda because it's not propaganda anymore. It's true. Do you know what I mean? It's not
They'll
propaganda.
know who they are, Keane. Don't worry
It's
about that.
gospel. It's gospel. That's what it is. It's not propaganda anymore. It's the Bruno gospel being spread to the masses.
You know.
So for me, my score prediction, I was originally going to say 3-1, but no, I'm going to go with another clean sheet for Manchester United. I'm going to go with 2-0 United. I'm going to go with Anthony Martial getting back on the score sheet. And also, I'm going to go with Bruno Fernandes, but I'm not going to go with a penalty. It's going to be from open play. Because again, I want to shout out Steve McManaman because I'm after seeing something on social media. I'm actually going to call you out right now. He praised Bruno Fernandes after the Liverpool game today. He said, Bruno Fernandes has made a fantastic impact in United. He scores a lot of penalties, but everyone's media fanboy, Kevin De Bruyne, has less goals from open play than Bruno. And Bruno's more goals from open play than supposedly the other best midfielder in the world. So shove that all up your backsides for 2020. Bruno Fernandes is the best midfielder in the world. You're just going to have to deal with it, okay? He's playing for Man United and not your club, Steve, for City or Liverpool, because I know you're a turncoat. So, yeah, you know yourself. Look.
That's my favourite word. You know Keane's ranting when he goes, you know yourself. Sorry, that was an impression of an Irish accent, and I do apologise for anybody that's Irish that's watching this now.
Stop. So anyway, I'm just gonna get to Tim's comment there. Jeez, like, oh, you know these parts and I get the giggles and I can't keep a straight face.
That's class.
Tim said Scholes would be like that scene in the movie Elf where Will Ferrell destroys all those kids in the park. I saw you watching that film the other day. Oh, I know the scene. Like his brother
his arm pure windmill in it.
Yeah.
Oh god.
But yeah, like look, in all seriousness, like look, every rival team, right? They can talk about Bruno and they can talk about penalties all they want, but really it's just Sarah Graves because you all wish you had him. Like, and I know I'm sounding like I'm being cocky, but let's face it. Name one midfielder in world football who has more goal contributions than Bruno Fernandes in the year 2020, and then come back to me, okay? Because I'm open with the comments. In the next video, you can come back to me. Our next video is probably going to be the 2nd of January, which is just like our first video of 2021. And funny enough, I think it's going to be the MMA show. But the thing about it is, you can come onto that video, come into the comments, and let me know who was a better midfielder in world football in the year 2020 than Bruno Fernandes. Yeah. And look, I will shout you out. And look, at the end of the day, it is what, in the words of Roy Keane, it is what it is. Do you know?
Yeah, what he said. Exactly what he said. Come at him.
I love ending the video with a nice rant. So it's like go from like 0 to 100 like straight away, and I think it's just I always go off on one. But look, it is what it is at the end of the day. Anyway, you know yourself, yeah. But look, this is the end of the Manchester United versus Aston Villa preview. And first off, I just want to say to everyone watching tonight for the comments, thanks everyone for viewing, thanks everyone for the comments. Again, do smash the like in the video, do subscribe to the channel. It's been a great year 2020. I just want to thank everybody who's been on the road with us at the weekly Armchair Kickoff podcast since April this year. It's been a mad couple of months. Look, I know Ireland and the UK and everywhere else around the world were all in their individual lockdowns. Ireland is after getting put on a full lockdown. Most of England now is in Tier 4. Most UK is in Tier 4 at the moment. Look, I hope everyone minds themselves during the lockdown. And look, I do appreciate everybody's support this year. And look, we're nearly at 170 subscribers at the moment. Our goal is to get 150 by Christmas. We've smashed that goal, and we're nearly at 170. The goal obviously is getting to in January, or by the end of January, our goal is to hit 200 subs. So if you're watching the first time, hit that subscribe button. Help us reach them milestones. Because at the end of the day, the more support you get, the more content we can deliver, and that's the main thing. And I love delivering content to each and every one of you every single week. And Jamie, you have something to say as well, don't you?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, obviously, You just mentioned there, it's obviously coming towards the end of the year, and it's obviously been a bit of a crazy year for everybody. So I don't know. Obviously, I haven't ever met anybody through this whole United sort of scene and that I'm a part of now. So I just hope everybody's safe and not been affected by the coronavirus. And if they have, just do what you need to do. Keep yourself safe and your family safe, and check up on your mates and your girl mates if there's. I know Amy's listening, so just thought I'd drop that in. But wish everybody. Obviously, it's been quite a difficult year. But on a personal note, I just wanted to say thank you to you, Keane. Like, I'm on a couple of different platforms on YouTube now, and I've only started this YouTube thing since September on a cameo on the Newcastle Man United show, and it's just sort of went a bit crazy. So I really appreciate you sort of giving me this little platform with you to sort of come on and sort of have a little bit of a laugh and a joke and sort of talk some serious football and interact with all the people that watch your shows. And just wanted to say a big thank you, and to everybody that sort of comments and asks me questions and sort of follows me on Twitter. I really appreciate it. My handle's there, so if you don't follow me, give me a follow, because I love interacting with new people, especially obviously Man United fans. I just wanted to say thanks as well to everyone, obviously letting me into your little world, Keane, with everybody that's attached to the platform, and really appreciate it, really enjoying this, and want to sort of crack on next year and be a part of this channel getting bigger and better. So yeah, just a personal thanks. And as I mentioned a minute ago, just anybody listening, I hope you have had a lovely Christmas for a start. Hope you got to see your loved ones. I know it's, as I mentioned, pretty difficult time at the moment, so I haven't been fortunate enough to see my dad all year and stuff like that. So I do appreciate. Obviously, I mentioned at the start of the show, I live in Newcastle, but I'm originally from near London. So I haven't seen my dad this year at all. So it's been quite difficult, because me and my dad are really close. So if you're dealing with that sort of thing as well, I can really relate to you, and stay strong, because good times are coming. And have a fantastic new year, you as well, Keane. Everybody that's listening, everybody that will listen to this, I wish you nothing but health and happiness next year, and hopefully a title for us Red fans. But yeah, that was just a little personal message from me to you, to wish you all the best for a new year. And hopefully it's a better one than this one. Obviously, we got a bit of bad news with the Tier 4 in England. I don't know what it's like for people in Ireland with at the moment, but we're going to get there. So keep smiling and keep checking on people. I know I sort of spoke about the mental health aspect that this lockdown's bringing as well. So make sure you're checking in on people you know that might be living on their own and stuff like that, and just spread some love, man, because we're all here to support our team, but we're all human beings, and we're here to help each other as well. So yeah, I probably went off on a bit of a tandem there, but hopefully that came out quite well, and wishes all the best. God bless.
Yeah, and look, I absolutely echo everything Jamie's saying there. And look, do look after your loved ones, do look after your friends. 2020 has been a difficult year for absolutely everybody. But look, we're going into 2021. And look, as all football fans, let's hope the football continues, because that's ultimately the game we all know and love. And look, on a personal note, for all the Manchester United fans watching the show, let's hope in the year 2021 we bring 21 home, and we bring the Premier League where it belongs, to Old Trafford. And let's hope by the end of the 2021 season, us as fans, we can get back to Old Trafford, and let's drive our team to that 21st title. Let's hope we can do that. But again, everyone, thanks very much for watching the video this evening. I've thoroughly enjoyed this video. Thanks everyone for the support in the year 2020. I've loved this journey since the first day I started. Well, except the technical difficulties on that first day. But I've enjoyed absolutely every minute. And again, I've enjoyed absolutely everyone's company on this channel, with Jamie, the rest of the lads, and all the special guests I've had on as well. So look, again, thanks everyone for watching. And look, we'll see you in 2021.